guys were healthy all year, they wouldn't been any different.
We're talking to Abe Gordon. Last one, Abe, we'll let you go. I know there is a decision to be made if Max Fried is in any way interested in staying on Max Fried. A couple other guys that are going to have contracts coming up. Nuts and bolts, 1 minute answer. What's the offseason look like for the Atlanta Braves?
I think you try and find an upgrade at shortstop, whether that's internal or external. I don't think you can play Orlando Arcia again. He was an absolute disaster at the plate. And there becomes a point where the defense just doesn't make up for it. I think we reached that point this year. So I would look for an upgrade at shortstop if possible. I'm still optimistic, Rob. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I know I was optimistic about Freddie. Didn't happen. I was less optimistic or even really caring about Dansby, and he's also gone. But for some reason, I'm optimistic they're going to find a way to pony up for Max Fried. So we'll see how that one goes. But look, Fried's going to get offers. There's no doubt about that. So I think you retain Brian Snitker. You work towards getting Strider and Acuna back for opening day. You upgrade at shortstop. You try and figure out what's going on in left field. And then hopefully you can bring back Max Fried. I think that's the plan.
Abe Gordon, host and producer on 92.9 The Game in Atlanta, Georgia. You can follow him on X at Abe Gordon, a gentleman, a scholar, and a hell of a guy. Abe, you're the best. Thank you, big dog. Let's do it again maybe mid-season or mid-off season because it's the off season now, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough to say already, but I appreciate the time as always. I just want to say best wishes and fingers crossed. We're thinking about everyone affected by Helene. We got very lucky here in Atlanta that it slid a little bit elsewhere, but obviously you guys bore the brunt of it, and we're doing a lot here at Odyssey Atlanta to help some people out, and I'm sure just everyone keep the faith, keep the hope up, stay optimistic, and we'll all get through this together as humans.
You're a good man, Abe Gordon. Thank you very much. Abe Gordon from 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. When we come back, Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast. We talk a little Carolina Panther football next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Thank you, Mojo Jojo.
I don't talk myself through my own process.
And then I will push button, and then button after push will work for Rashad to be able to hear and be on show.
What's up, big fella?
Can't hear you, Rashad.
Sorry about that. I muted myself.
There he is.
There he was.
You're good. What's up, fella? How you doing?
Good. How about you guys?
We're good, man. We're good.
No, we're not.
We are not good. Great. We have no power. Neither one of us has power yet, so we're
really?
struggling.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's right. Sheesh.
It'll be a week tomorrow.
That's crazy, man.
How'd y'all make out up there? Everything all right?
Yeah, Charlotte is not bad, but obviously a couple hours west, not so good over there. So
yeah.
I was gonna say we have it bad, but we don't have it as bad as they did. I mean, I had a ton of trees. I was trapped for a couple days. So yeah, I mean, but we're good. We're here.
Yep.
And we're allowed to come and hang out here all day if we need to, which we would have done anyway without permission, but it's good to have permission.
Right. That's all. That is awesome. Hope you guys get your power back soon.
They're working on it. We had the power crew finally show up in our neighborhood yesterday. They told us it'd be a couple of days before they could even start getting the lines back up because of the number of trees that are down there. It got weird here, like shockingly bad.
Yeah. Man.
We'll be all right. If all I got to do is go camping for a couple of nights, we'll be just fine.
He says weird. I was legitimately scared for my life. So, I mean, which doesn't happen very often. That's what you get for living around 40-foot trees, just watching them fall and thinking, okay, that next one's going to come through the house. I'm not as agile as I used to be. I'm probably about to be crushed, but,
It's tough.
I've never experienced a hurricane before, and now I have, and I would rather not do that again.
Yeah, they come up through here quite often, but usually, by the time they get here, they're not that bad. This one was tough. It's kind of weird because we didn't catch the Category 4 part of it. Like that's the weird part. Like I don't know.
Marcus said had not had power for 6 days, and they said it'd probably be Saturday before you get it. Yeah, you're in Marion, North Carolina. We're in Greenville, and they told the guy yesterday told me that it would likely be Saturday morning at the earliest, but that it could be Sunday or Monday. So we're looking at probably 9 or 10 days without it.
I really wish I didn't live in the middle of the woods so I could have gas, so I could actually have hot water. Because cold showers, those cold plunge people are stupid. Cold showers suck. They really do. It's really rough for us who have long hair, Rashad, when you got to try to get all that out with the cold. It's not good.
Yeah, not fun.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate on Thursdays at 8:40 in the AM portion of the day. We take a trip up to Charlotte, North Carolina, and speak to our next guest. He is one half of the Panther Nation podcast. When I tell you it is your source for talk about the Carolina Panthers, I'm being deadly serious. Rashad sees me pop up in the stream every time he does a stream. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us here on the show. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys? All is well over here. All is well.
I'm glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. Sounds like
can we get this out of the way? I mean, you're already getting comments on the jersey.
Rashad, Ronzo made the assumption that you were going to come in here and put me on blast for rocking the sleeveless Bel Air Academy basketball jersey today, and I thought, no, Rashad's going to think this jersey is fire.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Bel Air jersey. I love the throwback. I like it. There's nothing wrong with it.
I'm not talking about the jersey.
It is the fact that
I'm talking about the guns underneath
under the jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge.
I'll tell you. All right. I obviously before Helene came through, I was in the gym every day and I was jacked. But I got no power, so I turned into the Pillsbury.
Yeah, Swole got turned off.
All right, let's talk some Panther football, and let's start with the big news from the week. Shaq, done for the year, shut down with an injury after the L last weekend to Cincinnati. Rashad Beard. You know, like on one hand, I guess this is a point where you're like, I'm glad we kind of had low expectations or else this would feel like a big blow. On the flip side, as even Dave Canales said yesterday talking about Deontay, which we'll come to here in just a minute, it is a development year. It is a year that you wanted to kind of have everybody moving in the right direction, upward trajectory, and losing a leader like Shaq is a big blow. What's this mean for Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously next man up. Fortunately, we did draft a linebacker, Trevin Wallace, who is going to get some opportunity to lead that defense. But yeah, for Shaq as an individual, man, it's tough. He had a season-ending injury earlier last year too. And so, man, the injuries are mounting up, and it's unfortunate for Shaq Thompson. And I hope he, gets well soon. I know a lot of the conversation on X has been around, the turf, and I don't know how. Again, I'm not a doctor, never claimed to be, nor will ever be one. But a lot of people are talking about the turf and how that, how that's impacting all the injuries and how we should go back to natural grass. And Shaq Thompson was one of the guys that was very, very vocal about playing on grass. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it, and would that impact us or impact Tepper in making a decision to go back to natural grass? Obviously it's a financial move and he's a businessman, but at the end of the day, man, you got guys going down and we got to do a study. Something's got to be done about these injuries because they're mounting up. Derek Brown we lost for in the defense. Is just, it is what it is, man. You got to step up, but a lot of injuries that we're dealing with here.
Yeah, for sure. And the grass discussion is interesting because it's not just happening with active players. I know the Kelsey brothers have talked about it on their podcast. I think Mike Irvin talked about it on his podcast. I think Ocho Cinco talked about it on his podcast. Like I've heard it being discussed. So if this ends up being connected to it, and I'm sure Shaq is well, I don't want to assume. I would think Shaq may, if he believes it was turf connected, we're gonna hear about that because of what you said. He has been vocal about it, but like you said, he is a businessman. At the end of the day, it's not just the Panthers that play there. He's got the soccer team he's got to consider, as well as all the other events that run through that venue. So we'll find out. Speaking of that Deontay Johnson story, right? Kansas City loses Rashee Rice. Adam Schefter the next day is like, hey, Deontay, Adam Thielen could both be on the table. Deontay has said already that he is focused on the Panthers, and the reports are that he said within his circle that he actually hopes to be extended by the Panthers and stay in Charlotte, which makes sense, right? Like they rolled the dice on this cat. They said, you're our number one. We want to make you a number one. A lot of teams, I think, would try to make Deontay a number 2 wide receiver, but Dave Canales came out yesterday, said, hey, look, we're focused on development. He's a big part of the offense. I don't see that trade happening. Where do you think we stand on all of that?
Yeah, I certainly hope we don't trade Deontay Johnson. He's been a breath of fresh air. We haven't had a wide receiver of his stature since DJ Moore, and we obviously traded DJ Moore away, leaving us with literally no weapons. So Deontay has been, over these past couple of games, when he's had Andy Dalton throwing to him, it has been very, very good. I mean, he's got a lot of yards. I see averaging probably just over 100 yards per game. Got a couple touchdowns. He's playing well. He's exactly what we expect. A couple of drops last game, but they were tough catches. But obviously, we'll hope to see some improvement there. But man, I mean, for a team that has not had a number 1 wide receiver here in a long time, Deontay Johnson is definitely a breath of fresh air, and we gotta kind of start getting away from letting all our good guys walk. You got to start to develop something and keeping those guys around. So Deontay, I hope he stays. Is again really good wide receiver, and I hope he stays around for sure.
I would say the same thing. In fact, if anything, I'd say if there's a receiver getting moved, it's probably Adam Thielen. I think Thielen, last year, the contract, I think a dude that, while as talented as he is, he's a slot receiver. I would say respectfully, because I like Adam Thielen a lot, a little bit more replaceable than Deontay Johnson is, at least where you stand right now.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. Adam Thielen, especially at his age, getting a little bit older, want to ship him off to a contender, let him kind of sail off to paradise with the ring somewhere. So if we're going to trade anybody, I would do Adam Thielen a favor. And obviously, we can talk about Xavier Legette. He's definitely stepped up in Adam Thielen's absence. So certainly didn't really miss Thielen much. Obviously, there's a couple situations where we had some drops by Mingo, a couple drops by XL. Probably would not have been dropped by Adam Thielen, but those guys are going to continue to develop, and I think we're going to be okay moving forward.
So obviously the big conversation now, Bryce Young takes a back seat. In comes the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. He gets a win in week 1, very competitive against the Bengals in week 2. We had the conversation earlier this week, and I'll kind of leave this one open-ended for you to address however you want, Rashad. I've said already, Bryce Young looks bad. Andy Dalton came in, showed at least a little bit more what looks possible with a quarterback who understands. Yes, it is on Bryce Young to develop and get better. I've also said when I look at Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, some of these other guys, I think you have to put some of, not all, let me be clear, not all, but some of the blame of the failure of development of Bryce Young on the Carolina Panthers as well. It's just an ugly situation. A, do we see Bryce Young back on the field again this year for the Carolina Panthers? And B, do you have any belief in all the discussion going around that Bryce Young might be on the trading block if Dave Canales really does want to say, this ain't my guy?
Man, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to be honest. This is why I came on the show prior to Andy Dalton starting and said I didn't think it would happen. I was certainly wrong because later that day, they announced that they were going to start Andy Dalton.
It was
literally the same day. So this is why I question that, right? If you think of it from a long-term perspective, it doesn't make much sense because if this is so quote unquote a development year, as you say, then why not let Bryce Young kind of just play it out? But I also get it in that you got a team to keep happy, right? You got mouths to feed. Deontay Johnson, those receivers, those offensive linemen are taking a lot of blame for Bryce Young's play, right? Our whole supporting cast for offensive linemen and wide receivers taking all the blame, right? We don't have an offensive line. We don't have a wide receiver. Wide receivers aren't getting separation. And clearly that was not the case, right? We have one of the probably the top 3 offensive line in the NFL. So it's not an offensive line issue. We have weapons. Deontay Johnson's playing. You know what I mean? these guys are playing well. So it's not an issue with talent. We have talent. So Bryce Young definitely he regressed under Canales, which is not expected. I don't know what we're going to do moving forward. I don't see any circumstance where Bryce Young gets the position back unless there's an injury to Andy Dalton. And so it's just unfortunate. I don't know where we go. I don't see him getting traded either. I just think he kind of sticks around.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I was watching your stream that day in the chat, and I had said earlier in that morning on my show as well, like to me, if this is a development year, sitting Bryce Young doesn't make sense unless, and even if you do want to trade him, like why would you not put him out there and unless you truly believe he's just bad and you're trying to hide him until you can ship him off somewhere else, it doesn't make sense to me because, and you said this, I had already said it on the show, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like if you go out there and win 3 games, all you're doing is costing yourself a draft pick. And if Bryce Young's not your guy, you're going QB1, even if it is a thin draft class at QB, which I think we both agree that it is this year. If you're going quarterback, I want to be as high as possible. So playing Andy Dalton and picking up 2 or 3 wins, I don't understand what it helps. Even though you were you got to win and you were competitive against Cincinnati, I don't think you're making a run for a division. You're like plus 3,200 to win it, even with the performance the last couple of weeks. Even though you looked more competitive, like my immediate response was, yay, so what?
I mean, yeah, I got to be honest, though. It does feel good to be somewhat competitive. I can tell you this, just the energy in the stadium was much better. Even throughout that game, we were down 2 touchdowns. But, man, it felt like we were in the game. So that feeling, I got to be honest, that feeling is good. But when you look at the future, like you're saying, it doesn't make much sense. And maybe there's a scenario where we continue to go with veteran quarterbacks. You brought up, Baker Mayfield and Geno and these guys. Maybe the Canales magic only works with veterans. Maybe he can't develop rookies. So we don't know that. I have no idea. Maybe in the future we continue to go with the veteran quarterback route. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm in wait and see mode. I don't have any reason to doubt the Canales way and the Dan Morgan way just yet. We're waiting to see. But as of right now, I think Andy Dalton is the right choice. If we're talking about trying to win games right now, Andy Dalton is the right choice. He gives us an opportunity. He's going to keep us in the games. He's going to at least make the offense look respectable. And that's all we can ask for right now. You know what I mean? That's all I got.
I think you also mentioned something that was exciting to see was they were happy and they were having fun. I mean, on the sidelines and out on the field, I mean, that's something that hasn't been there for the Panthers.
Yeah, the energy wasn't just different in the stands. It was different on the sideline too.
Yeah, completely different. I mean, I've never seen so many Panthers fans in my section. So I know Andy Dalton at least brought that to the table, right? There's a little bit of hope, and you can see it. The energy is everywhere. It's up everywhere. The locker room, there's a complete shift in the energy levels on both sides of the stands and in the locker room.
Bad news for everybody who didn't buy tickets early. Ticket prices are going up now. You had that chance to get them while they were cheap,
right?
Oh no, they're more than that.
They're $5. I do want to, I like giving credit where credit is due. I got it. This is a good take. Made 4 more in the chat said Canales needed to show that his scheme actually works and it was a personnel issue. That's pretty good. Cool Kev came in and said the same thing. Now you can evaluate the talent around the quarterback with Andy. And I actually like that take, Rashad. Like to me, with Bryce Young in development mode, you did kind of have to scale back a little bit. Now with Andy Dalton, even if he's not as good as having a Pro Bowl quarterback's going to be, it allows Canales to really show that offense and his scheme is capable. And in 2 weeks, it certainly has looked that way. I think that's a really good take.
Yeah, and I agree with it. I mean, it's the proof is in the pudding, right? Everybody's looking. The offensive line has been playing well. And they were getting a lot of flack. They were getting a lot of flack for these sacks that they were quote unquote giving up when in all reality, they weren't. It's just Bryce Young was holding on to the football too long and it didn't have the pocket presence to step up and make a throw. So Andy Dalton is making concise decisions with the football and the scheme is working. I would agree with that take wholeheartedly. Yep.
Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast joins us every single Thursday, at 8:40 to talk Carolina Panther football with us. Rashad, as we get set up for this weekend, What do we want to see out of Carolina this weekend? On the road at Chicago, you got DJ Moore over there. You got Caleb Williams, the guy that was used with the Bryce Young pick. There's a little, I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things, but a little emotional investment in this game. What are we thinking?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a big game for Bryce Young. This was supposed to be the game that Bryce Young was supposed to show, hey, man, the Panthers got it right. They traded for me, and all the assets that went to the Chicago Bears, man, that doesn't matter. I'm still the guy. This was supposed to be that game. Unfortunately, a little bit of, luster has been taken away from that. But at the end of the day, you want to see the defense step up. The defense has lost some guys. You want to see Trevor Wallace take that step, become that middle linebacker of the future, right? The cornerbacks are going to be tested. The wide receivers of the Chicago Bears are really talented. DJ Moore is always going to be looking to get that get back for his former team in the Carolina Panthers. So it's going to be a good game. Just all eyes are on the defense. We've seen the offense progress. I trust the offense. Chuba Hubbard's playing well. Deontay Johnson's playing well. I don't see too many situations where it's going to be a complete shootout. I think we can slow down Caleb Williams in that offense. I think we're going to be fine. I think this is certainly a winnable game. I think every game is going to be at least competitive with Andy Dalton at the helm.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can follow them on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, go to their YouTube channel, Panther Nation Podcast. Click that subscribe button. Hit that little alarm bell because Rashad goes live all the damn time. Big dog, appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
Yep, appreciate you guys, man. Always fun.
My pleasure. Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast, Hating-Ass Mario from the BetQL Network joins us in the next segment to talk about the rest of the storylines around the NFL Network. That is all after Lonzo seduces you with this sports flash.
Got to admit, it's hard because my pictures was just
Our
on the window.
faces are on the building.
Yeah, this is weird. The season is over for the Atlanta Braves, who were swept out of the wild card round after a 5-4 defeat last night. Max Fried was yanked after just 2 innings, surrendering 8 hits and all 5 runs through 6 outs. Michael Harris, the second, had a 2-run homer in the 8th to bring the Braves within 1, but were unable to finish the job in the 9th. Atlanta finishes with an 89-73 record. In other Major League Baseball playoff games, the Detroit Tigers swept the Houston Astros 5-2.